So, a very good afternoon, everybody who have uh, come to this session. Thank you so much for your time. And today's session, especially, we all know that in India, a significant portion of our population depends on livestock for their livelihood. The magnitude of this reliance becomes very evident when we consider the 2019 livestock census, which reveals that livestock population of approximately 536.76 million, alongside an additional 101 million community and companion animals. However, India's vulnerability to a range of natural disasters put this coexistence of humans and animals with a considerable challenge. Our country, we all know that we are subjected to multiple hazards and frequency is too heavy, sadly due to lack of proper animal disaster management. We experience substantial loss of animal lives. So data from NDMA paints a grim picture. Nearly 1 million cattle are lost annually in India due to floods alone. And it top their droughts and cyclones are affecting 44% of our country's livestock and population, which includes buffaloes, cattle, goats, pigs, and hundreds of animal every year. And we also have to take a note that not every is being documented at the same time. Clearly, a proactive preparation to safeguard animals is very important to ensure their safety and welfare. These numbers speak for themselves and they underline the urgency for our mission to do. So hence, we have Fear India along with Humane Society International India created this platform where we can discuss more and really emphasize the pressing need of comprehensive disaster preparedness and management strategies when it comes to livelihood, like livestock. To utilize further discussion and to hear from experts in this field on integration of animals in disaster management, we all welcome you to the session titled Building Resilience of Animal in the Face of uh, Rising Disasters. So, before starting, I would like to give a quick introduction of our speakers today. KM Singh, who is a distinguished veteran who has served the government of India with distinction of nearly 3 decades. During his illustrious career, he held key positions within the Intelligence Bureau and the Indian High Commission in London, where he served as Minister Coordination from 1996 to 2000. Additionally, he assumed the role of Director General of Central Industrial Security Force from 2003 to 2005. Following his retirement, Mr. Singh's remarkable contribution to the nation continued as he was appointed as a founding member of National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA). In this capacity, he held an esteemed status of Minister of States within the Government of India for an impressive 9-year tenure. During his tenure at NDMA, he played a pivotal role in establishing and shaping the National Disaster Response Force, transforming it into a specialized force capable of efficiently responding to any disaster situation. In recognition of his exceptional dedication and outstanding achievement in the field of disaster management, for his instrumental role in raising the NDRF, was honored as an inaugural recipient of prestigious Kar Chandra Bose Abda Prabandhan Puraskar awarded by the Union government in 2020. Currently, Mr. Singh is actively engaged with the Policy Perspective Foundation (PPF), a distinguished think tank. Here, he has embarked on pioneering initiatives focused on the crucial area of management of animals in emergencies, further demonstrating his unwavering commitment to addressing critical issues in disaster preparedness and response. Sir, we are very privileged to have you to hear from you on the subject. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on, we have a second speaker, Mr. Praveen Suresh, who is the manager of Disaster Preparedness Response and Relief Department, Humane Society International India. With half a decade of experience in the field, Praveen has worked with both government and non-governmental bodies for the development of disaster management plans, on-ground interventions, risk assessment studies, emergency responses, capacity building, etc. Advancing the welfare of animals in more than 50 countries, the Humane Society International works around the globe to promote human-animal bonds to and protect dogs and cats, improve farm animal welfare, protect wildlife, promote animal-free testing and research into disasters, and confront cruelty to animals in all its forms. To support our work, yeah. Thank you so much, Praveen, for joining our session today. We are also looking forward to hear from your practical level experience on dealing with animals in the face of disaster. Thank you so much, both of our speakers. So quickly, without any delay, I would like to move forward with our session. So starting with Mr. Praveen. Praveen, we would like to hear from you on on your take on as an introduction to animals in disaster, and how do we plan to take care of animals in disaster? Over to you.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, Sri India, for organizing this webinar. And it is great to be speaking with Dr. K.M. Singh, who is the pioneer of disaster management in India. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Thank you. Great. So, building disaster resilience of animals, this topic, we have been hearing about animals recently a lot. Global entities like UN and all have been talking about animals and disasters. Dr. K.M. Singh himself have written a lot about animals in disasters with respect to India and the world scenario. And so we are getting some attention in this field in the recent past, and a lot more can be done. Still, we are at the early stage of bringing animals into disasters, making that inclusivity part actually real. So here I'm very much interested to see what Dr. K.M. Singh is also saying about how India's disaster management system can be more inclusive of animals, how the system can be developed in such a way that the mainstreaming of disaster reduction also includes animals in it. And here my aim is to talk a bit about the impact of disasters, how the disasters are impacting animals in India especially. And recent past, we have seen a rising trend of disasters. I mean, every year it's record-breaking rains, floods. Flood level is crossing the earliest records. The heat waves, again, record-breaking heat. The degrees Celsius are increasing every year. Cyclones are crossing borders like never before, having strengthened cyclones are traveling through the land and through the ocean for days. Like the cyclone Biparjoy traveled for almost 15 days. So the trend of the such incidents are increasing with the climate changing, and which is evidently than ever before actually now. And it is high time to take actions as well. And Henna, I would like, can you please share my PPT? Can go to the first slide. Can you go to the first slide? Again, back. This is the last slide. If you can do this.
This is the first slide.
Go back again until you see one in the right hand corner. Go back. Yeah, back, again, yeah. So can you go to the next slide? Next one, yeah. So I took this data from the EMDAT, And this is the uh, number of disasters and the top 10 countries where it happened in 2022. And you can see how Asia is having one of the largest number after the Americas, of course, and India has a big share of it. And one of the deadliest disasters, counting all these disasters, are floods, and then comes drought, cyclones, etc. Can you go to the next slide? So this is again data from 2020 to 21. The left-hand side, you can see top 10 countries again that experience disasters, where you can see India has almost 46 number of disasters happened from 2020 during 2020-21. Again, the death count, if you see, India is not the not one that country with the largest number of disasters, but the death toll is really huge, and it's 4,743. So that says how vulnerable we are to such disasters and how our system needs to be improved in order to reduce the impact of disasters. Next slide, please. And this is India's total. India has faced a total of 191 disasters from 2010 to 2021. Again, 46.81 percentage of that is due to floods. We have storm, drought, cyclone, forest fires, etc. Also, and forest fires, for a fact, is in a very increasing trend, and over the recent past, we are reading a lot of news with respect to forest fires across India. And next slide, please. And it talks about a drastic impact of disasters on animal welfare. Why is it a big deal in India? So the rising trend of disasters with respect to animals, why do we have to look at it in a very close manner? Because over 1 million cattle are lost due to floods every year. That is, this is an old data, but it is still valid, and recent data also for livestock, it's mostly available. So if we can look at the recent data also, it's almost similar. So on an average of 1 million cattle are lost due to floods every year in the country. And 44% of country's livestock are prone to cyclone and drought. Again, 70% of livestock is owned by poor and vulnerable communities in India. So, over 90% of India's livestock is with the rural community, and around 4% is 4 to 5% is with the urban community. And thus, in the rural areas, due to various socioeconomic, political reasons, economic reasons as well, and exposure to multiple hazards, the rural people are more prone to disasters, and over 70% of the livestock are with those rural people who are already vulnerable to disasters. This again increases the disaster vulnerability of the livestock. And of course, we do not have much data, but of the community and companion animals as well. And India's livestock sector counts around 36% of the disaster losses. And again, the livestock sector adds to around 2%. Yeah, 2% of the total GDP in India, and around 25% of the agricultural GDP as well. That's the range. That's the kind of economic impact we are looking at with respect to the livestock. And unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of enough data with respect to livestock loss or other animals lost, including wildlife, community animals, working animals, companion animals. If you look at the life disaster loss of these animals, it's a bit difficult to get. Very few states in India have a proper system of following or taking the data of animals lost, and of course the census data as well. So for community animals like dogs, cats, and all, stray dogs, stray cats, etc., we do not have an accurate data available. And animals exposed to floods in India, again, buffaloes, cattle, goats, and pigs. You can see the numbers here, the percentages here. So it's really huge, and it really needs an attention, and it really needs planning from the top to granular level as possible, to work with the communities to understand their vulnerabilities and improving their disaster resilience and their animals. Can we go to the next slide? Again, this is the data of the number of cattle deaths due to the natural disasters from India of 2008 to 2020. We can go to the next slide. So, what do animals have to do with disaster resilience? One thing we have observed now is, yes, there is an economic impact of losing animals to disasters. And then secondly, what are the other factors? Definitely, there is an economic impact. If a farmer loses his or her cattle due to floods, let's say, out of his 5 or 10 cattle, they are losing, let's say, out of 10 cattle, 2 cattle are lost. And with the help from the government or NGOs, he or she is getting 1 cattle back, and the income loss of that 1 cattle, to compensate, it takes years to compensate from that loss of income. Let's say the 3 lakhs is the total income one farmer gets from a cattle. It reduces to maybe 2.5 lakhs, and then again, next year another flood event happens. The vulnerability adds on. Farmer is not able to escape from the chain of that losing economic impact of losing their animals, and it is very much connected to their livelihood and also their psychosocial well-being. And connecting to that psychosocial impact of losing animals to disasters, there is a theory called attachment theory in psychology, which talks about affectional ties between a primary caregiver and an infant. The study has been also used to understand the close bond between humans and non-human animals. Attachment to animals often leads to behavior such as proximity maintenance, providing a safe haven, acting as a secure base for risk taking, and experiencing separation distress when separated from them. Studies have shown that the presence of animals can be a significant factor in people's decision to evacuate during disasters. People would risk their lives returning to their animals or stay back, risking themselves and others in their family, to including rescue and relief professionals. So we have seen this in the past in India. During the 2018 Kerala floods, many residents refused to leave their homes without their pets and livestock. In Chennai, during the massive floods in 2015, similar instances were reported where residents were unwilling to evacuate without their pets. Cyclone Fani, one of the most severe cyclone to hit India, prompted many residents in Orissa to insist on evacuating with their animals. Some individuals even set up makeshift shelters to protect street animals from the storm. And Also, a study in US said that over 70% or 70% of the residents were not willing to, with animals were not willing to evacuate uh, without taking their companion animals during the cyclone Hurricane Katrina. And also, so therefore, that psycho-social impact, the attachment of animals, attachment we have with animals are something which needs to be studied more, especially in India. And with the recent examples, also we can see it's not something which can be taken lightly. And losing their animals have really big psychological impact on people. This uh, this this takes a toll on when we plan for disaster resilience, when we make plans and try to implement them without understanding that community, the presence of animals, the importance of animals community give uh, is something we need to definitely count on and plan accordingly. So, if you want to improve the disaster resilience of animals, you'll have to definitely, improve the disaster resilience of people. You'll have to definitely work on improving the disaster resilience of animals. And of course, environmental conservation is another area where we should definitely look at. A lot of wildlife getting affected by animals. And India is rich in biodiversity and is home to numerous endangered species and wildlife. The proper disaster management for animals is essential to protect these species and to maintain ecological balance. We do not know much data about the wildlife loss, the ecosystem depletion, what happens due to coastal erosions, how costs are changing. Some of the nature-based solutions to disaster management in such coastal areas simply include uh, planting more such trees and other plantations in these coastal areas, and restoring those wetlands um, goes a long way and a sustainable way to reduce the disaster risk and increase communities' resilience. So such kind of these are why we need to include animals in the disaster resilience planning. And of course, One Health is something you all must be knowing about. And around 75 percentage of such zoonotic diseases, 60 percentage of the existing human infections are zoonotic, and around 75 percentage of emerging infections uh, have animal origin. So we'll have to have that aspect also, the One Health aspect also in mind when we are planning preparing the disaster management planning, or talking about mainstreaming disaster management or inclusivity, etc. So, and not to ignore the animal safety and well-being is our responsibility. We are the one who should take care of our animals. They have the freedom, they have the right to have freedom from pain, discomfort, distress, hunger, and thirst, freedom to express their natural behavior. So their lives are as valuable as human lives, our lives. And they are capable of experiencing the pain, fear, and distress we all face. So, and it is important that we take that to account, and it is our duty to protect those animals from such kind of distress. From your home, from your schools, teach your kids to uh, consider animals, uh, make evacuation plans in their homes for them as well as their animals. So it has to start from that level. It has to start from the community level to improve the disaster resilience of animals. And yeah, next slide. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Praveen, for your presentation. You have clearly given us an idea on the numbers, like the available statistical data, which actually showed us the depth of the issue. Like when we say animals are being affected, what are the numbers? Thank you for sharing it with us. And also, you have emphasized a very important point, which is the lack of data, which is also one of a clear action point that we all together, including government, CSOs, will have to take up forward. And also, you have mentioned several impacts of uh, losing animals to disaster, which includes economic, psychological, environmental. And also, thank you for highlighting the One Health concept, which is also a potential approach that we can go forward. when it comes to like bringing in a sustainable balance and to optimize the health of people, animals, and ecosystem. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Now that we have an understanding about the impact of the disasters and how does it impact animals, I would like to move on to our next speaker to know more about the integration strategies. Given the context of India, we know that sir have been working in this area a lot. Sir, we would like to hear from your experience, your expertise on how the journey has been and what are some of the key strategies that we can take forward. And also, I would like to put in a word that we have a lot of CSOs joining us in the session as participants. So what we can do as CSOs, like what strategies can we can adapt in order that we ensure we also include animals in our personal disaster management plans. Over to you, Dr. Singh.
Thank you, Hannah. Can I start?
Yes, sir. You can.
Hannah, first of all, I think you have given me 20 minutes, so I will take 20 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, sir, definitely. We are waiting to hear.
We are already slightly behind schedule.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you very much, first of all, to Sphere India for giving me this opportunity and organizing this program on an issue which is very close to my heart. And I know Sphere India has been working on this field for last more than 10 years. Now, the point is that the subject, I will straightway come to the subject. First of all, I will thank Dr. Praveen for a good presentation. And I would like to confess that I'm neither a veterinarian nor do have any expertise in the field of animal husbandry. And so I feel humbled to talk in the presence of many CSOs who may be far more knowledgeable. But anyway, what I will be talking about is based on my experience in the field. And I will straightway come to the subject. And the subject given to me is to talk on integration strategies. That is, I have been told to speak on effective strategy for animal inclusion in disaster management plan at all levels, informed by informed case studies and innovative ideas and future direction in the context of India. Now, let me tell you one thing, that this is a field which is a totally gray area. Not much has been done, though there is a lot of awareness of late in large number of people. I would like to very briefly mention, which will be complementing what Dr. Praveen mentioned, that erstwhile WSAP, which is now World Animal Protection, more than 10 years ago, did a good study. What are the gaps in this area? They identified many gaps, but some of the 3-4 key gaps are, first of all, lack of any plan on management of animal in disasters at national, state, and district level. Secondly, inadequate trained human resources in the field. Thirdly, inadequate training facility and infrastructure in this field. And lastly, lack of awareness among farmers and other stakeholders in this field. So there's a huge gap. And now what I have been asked to speak on is a strategy, how to fill the gap. Well, Sphere India or even Human Society or whatever it may be, all these organizations which are working, you will be talking from your own perspective. But let me confess my limitation, that having been in the government for 46 years, I will view everything from the government's perspective, whether you approve it or not. And I'm very clear on this point, that this issue can be properly brought into disaster management framework if we are able to mainstream the subject of management of animals in emergency in disaster management framework in the country. Mainstreaming is very important. And I'll give you a couple of examples, one from India, other from USA. Way back prior to 2005, we had a very ad hoc way of disaster management in the country, though we are managing and we are happy about that. But legislation, namely Disaster Management Act 2005, brought about a paradigm shift with the institutional, legal, and financial mechanism at all levels. And thereafter, the country has made a rapid stride in the field of disaster management in all respects. Things have changed. Now, as far as management of animals in emergency is concerned, in the context of disaster management, we are still in the pre-2005 mode. There is no legislation, nothing in the place. And so this ad hocism cannot take us anywhere. I am mentioning that because I was asked to talk about the strategy. And this is not only true of India. I give you the example of USA also. In USA, 2005, Hurricane Katrina happened, and there are any number of case studies where the animal lovers decided not to get evacuated without animals. It made a big news in the newspapers, and that led to, in 2005, enactment of PETS Act, Pets Evacuation and Transport Standard Act. And that PETS Act brought about total paradigm shift over there in management of animals in emergency in USA, because it provided complete needs of household pets before, during, and following a disaster.
Sound,
FEMA was,
there's a sound.
pardon? FEMA was also authorized to provide finances to all the states and also reimburse the expenditure incurred. And now more than 30 states in USA had adopted this. So be it India or be it USA or any other country, I am very clear that if we have to achieve a national vision, we cannot attain it unless it is supported by legislation, plans, policy, rules, and regulation with effective implementation mechanism. This is very important. So that is the strategy number one I mentioned. Strategy number two is flowing from this, that if we have to mainstream management of animal in emergency in our disaster management framework, first and foremost thing is, which I have been harping for a long time, is need to amend the Disaster Management Act 2005. The definition at section 2D of the Act says that this Act relates to only human being and property. The word animal is not mentioned anywhere. Similarly, so the definition needs to be changed and to include livestock or animal also. And incidentally, the Animal Husbandry Department doesn't find mention anywhere in the Act. In the National Executive Committee, under section 22, 13 secretaries to the Government of India are part of the NEC. Animal Husbandry Department is not there. That needs to be there. Same is true in the State Disaster Management Authority. Down below, the District Disaster Management Authority, section 25, the local chief medical officer, the superintendent of police, everybody is there. But the local animal husbandry officer in district, not there. So Animal Husbandry Department doesn't figure anywhere in the Act. If that is so, how can we proceed further? However, at the top of the voice, say Spare India or any other organization may be talking about. Now, how to change the Act? Despite our best effort for so many years, the stand taken by the concerned ministry is that animal is included in the property, so there is no need to change the definition. But then Uttarakhand High Court, in its judgment in July 2018, very clearly mentioned that animals are legal entities having all the rights, and it's a legal persona. And the key word is in the High Court judgment is animals need not be treated as a property. So that's very clear, this judicial verdict, but still there is no change. So that is one, strategy 2. Strategy 3, I will say that the key ministry is Ministry of Animal Husbandry. And on their part, lot of action is required if they have to do that. First of all, if the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, we can help in amending the act by taking up it appropriately with the government. It has to make the plan. It is a very ad hoc plan, but the plan has to be updated. And they have to ensure that the national plan is implemented. And also states and districts also make the plan. For that, the Ministry of Animal Husbandry has to guide the states and district authorities. They have to also, Animal Husbandry Department or Ministry has to promote training and capacity building in the field of management of animals in emergency to have adequate human resources in the field. The Minister of Animal Husbandry has also directed the Veterinary Council of India to establish as many veterinary emergency response units in the veterinary colleges and universities as possible. Presently, there are only 6. They are working. They have done commendable work, but that was between 2009 to 2012. After that, no value that has been set up. And then the Ministry of Animal Husbandry has to also take steps towards integration of animal issues in disaster management framework in coordination with Ministry of Home Affairs, NDMA, NIDM, NDRA, Veterinary Council of India, etc. So that is for the Ministry of Animal Husbandry. At the national level, NIDM and NDMA has to also a big role to play. First of all, NDMA is the apex body, but they don't have any veterinary staff in the authority. So they need to have a qualified veterinarian or paravet to deal with the subject in the NDMA and NIDM both. Then they have to guide the state disaster management authorities and ATIs also to have this subject in the capacity building program in the states on management of animals in emergency. Then they have to also ensure, NDMA has also to ensure effective multi-sectoral coordination between Department of Animal Husbandry, NIDM, SDMA, NDRF, Veterinary Council of India, veterinary institutes, and various NGOs in the field. Thirdly, at the national levels, we have Veterinary Council of India. We had a major conference on this issue. PPF had along with the Spare India last year. The number of recommendations were there. And one of the recommendations was that Veterinary Council of India should go for amendment of the curriculum of all the veterinary colleges and universities to have the minimum standard of veterinary education, what they call MSVE 2016 amended, with a dedicated chapter on disaster management and disaster risk reduction relating to animals. So this is at the national level. Next strategy, moving toward the state. State level, the SDMA has to ensure preparation of plans for management of animal in emergency, a state plan and district plan. Some of the states like Bihar has already done it, but every state has to do that. Also, SDMA and DDMA should also have a wing, veterinary wing with qualified vets and paravets so that they can guide the other stakeholders. One initiative taken by NDMA with World Animal Protection way back, more than 10 years ago, was that in 6 veterinary institutions, veterinary emergency response unit, where we were set up, Bihar, Palampur, 6 places, Chennai, and these venues where there are, these institutions, medical university, veterinary universities, they are qualified doctors in the field. They have done commendable work. But after 6, it has not been expanded. I get the impression that many of the veterinary university and colleges will like to have veterinary units, provided they get support, both moral and financial, and that has to be taken up further. Then the SDMA and the DDMA has to adopt a community-based approach towards animal protection by training community representatives, Panchayati Raj institution people, and first responders, etc. And SDMA and DDMA have also to associate local level NGOs dealing with animal issues in the capacity building and awareness generation program. Many of the NGOs will be very happy to do that. And for the state, lastly, this suggestion came to me sometimes back from the different services, that there are any number of ex-servicemen who are from veterinary corps. After retirement, they have gone and settled down in their villages. And the State Disaster Management Authority or District Disaster Management Authority can easily get the contact details of these ex-veterinary corps people, and they can involve themselves in this field as a force multiplier when anything happens. Then next strategy number 5 is, as far as the response is concerned, that is the subject of NDRF. I may tell you that NDRF, in all the 16 battalions, they have a large number of more than 300 trained responders in evacuation, rescue, and shelter management of animals. This has been done. I, in the PPF, being in the PPF and earlier associated with the NDRF, worked very hard on it. And so all the NDRF battalions are very well trained. And from 2009 onwards, NDRF has so far saved 17,608 animals in high flood situation. They saved 17,000 may be a small number, but then every animal saved is important. But this has to be taken forward further, and this can be taken forward further. Firstly, NDRF has to continue this initiative, but NDRF has also trained SDRF in Bihar, but other states also. SDRF should also be trained in evacuation, rescue, and shelter management during disasters. NDRF has also been conducting awareness generation program in the area of operation in all fields related to disaster management, including management of animal emergency. But then this awareness generation program of farmers, villagers, stakeholders is a huge job. This has to be continued further, and that can be continued further if the civil society organization, they also get associated with NDRF at local level. It can be taken further. And my last point is strategy 6, and that is finance. Nothing is possible, even if legislation, everything is there. Unless finance is available, nothing is possible. I may mention that the 15th Finance Commission has brought about a significant reforms in disaster risk funding. I'm happy to say that the 15th Finance Commission has allocated as much as 1,28.122 crores. 1,28,000 crore, huge amount of money to the states for the next 5 years ending 2025-26. So money is no problem, let me tell you, money is no problem. Only thing is that the strategy of the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, NDMA, they had to approach the government to MHA that out of the huge financial allocation, at least some amount must be spent on the management of animal in emergency. So these are the 6 strategies. As I mentioned, I have talked only from the point of view of what government can do. But let me tell you one thing once again, that we have been working at Sphere India and many other organizations, Reliance Foundation, all these have been working for the last 10 years. PPF, I have been working for 10 years. We have hardly made any progress, and we will not make any progress unless the government support is there. So the strategy number 1, as I mentioned, is to ensure mainstreaming management of animal in emergency in a disaster management framework in the country by proper legislation, policy plan, rules, regulations, etc. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh, for listing out the strategies, starting from what government can do and like further like talking about even the animal husbandry's role, SDMA, DDMA, and even NDRF role in it. Thank you so much for that enlightening discussion. Now, I would like to open the stage for further discussion and open questions from our participants. Both of our speakers are here. If you have any questions, you can either raise your hands or or you can just unmute your mic and
Hello.
yes, Hansen sir.
We have been hearing a
So much
very,
for-
very important message from both Dr. Pradeep and Dr. Singh. I'm so happy to listen to the deliberations, especially the way forward. At least what so far we couldn't much on this line about animal protection during and after the disaster. I remember after the 1999 super cyclone in Orissa, we have constructed several cyclone and flood shelters in which we have made provision for animal protection also during the time of evacuation. The animals were also given a position in that shelters, a raised land where covered area is not available. There are areas made in other states also. I have been working in this line since almost 40 years in almost every states in India and also outside India when major disasters happen. So this is very, very important for us as a matter of fact that both pet animals and domestic animals both are very, very important to be protected. And involving the CBOs and the NGOs at local level, plus ND, the retired professional from NDMA and NDRF. That is very important for several sectors, both health, medical sector and army sector, those who are, and also those who are trained in various sectors and the government servants. When they come back in the retired life, a community can be given good leadership by them. And we have formed several community-based task force disaster to respond to the disasters during and after, before, during, and after disasters. So with their services, we can establish, we can ensure a good quality resilience activities during preparation for the with the preparations. So these messages what we have, if we put into practice both by the government and by the community leaders, we can do a better response in emergencies. And proper policies and guidelines have to be developed. Maybe Spear India can contribute towards it, enlightening the government department, state SDMA and DDMAs should take advanced steps towards it, and we can see a resilient states as well as a resilient India in disasters. Thank you.
Aina, can I respond to this question?
Yes, please.
Aina, thank you very much. You made a very good point. But what you have said is further reinforces my point. You talked of Odisha cyclone shelters. I was very much involved in that cyclone shelters. I have visited all the cyclone shelters. The design was made by IIT Delhi, and mostly there is some stills and the fire animals and all that. But are you aware how it was meant? It was a part
Yes,
of the.
I mean,
Let me complete. Then you can again go, because let me complete the answer. It was a part of the National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project of MHA and NDMA, funded by the World Bank project. And in that, it was primarily meant for human being, but the ground still was made for animals. But the point is, it has nothing to do with the management of animal subject per se. It incidentally happened. It is part of the National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project, Odisha especially. Cyclone Phylline, I know how all this happened. My point was that this is not a part. The government didn't take this initiative per se for the animals. It was incidental that it was being made, so they have made that also. But unless, why this will not happen in other states, because other states can't have National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project. Even West Bengal doesn't have that. So my point is, Odisha is an exception. They have done very good for cyclone management, including animals. But we are talking of the national framework, where legislation, policy, plans, rules, and regulation is necessary, especially to the management of animal in emergency. In India, India can do a lot, and let me tell you that last year, Hannah will bear me out, that in the association with NIDM, Handbook for Management of Animals in Disaster Emergency. This is that book. This was prepared by the SA India. It is a very more than 100 pages book. That handbook was made. But what has happened further? Nothing much will happen unless I come once again. There is a legislation, policy, plans, and rules, especially unless the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, the Government of India, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, the states, etc. are involved. NDMA is involved. Nothing will happen. Well, nothing much, I don't mean nothing, very little will happen. Your NGOs, my efforts, it is frustrating to say it is not moving forward. Thank you. Let's go to Hannah. If the questions are very brief, we can answer, because your time is already up, nearly.
Yes, sir. So we can move on to the next question. There's one more hand raised. Mr. Hansen.
Yes, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have a question. I just would like to, I'm really happy to be part of this webinar, and really happy to see Kem Singh sir after such a long time, we have been associated for so many years and working together for this cause. And his passion towards protecting animals in disasters has really the drive behind all the initiatives that we have been taking in India since World Animal Protection. We have been working here, and a lot of measures have been put in place because of that. And I certainly agree that we have still a long way to go ahead. Thanks to Mr. Praveen, HSI, for this initiative, along with Sphere India for organizing this program. And there are excellent points shared by Kem Singh sir for developing strategies which touch upon all the sectors. And I just have 2 points just to add to this. One is the financial sector, because the livestock insurance is one more aspect which really draws our attention. I think there will be some recommendations that will be coming out of this webinar. So I kindly request Sphere India to see that all these points are captured in a way and put up as a recommendation, so that we can come out with some actionable steps as a way forward. So one is the financial sector. To touch the financial sector, insurance, livestock insurance, we are still in a very basic stage. We need to have proper livestock insurance. What we have right now is livestock insurance, but the name is only livestock insurance. It doesn't go to the animal, it goes to the farmer. So we need actual insurance that benefits the animal as well as the farmer. What the insurance right now, what we have is like crop insurance or asset insurance. It is called as livestock insurance, but it doesn't benefit the animal. So we need to have specific clauses that benefits the animal. Second point I would like to say is touch upon the private sector, because private sectors, we have a lot of resources and which can be pumped in, I think, to this cause. And what Kem Singh sir said, really, I totally agree. Government sector has a lot of fund, a lot of resources in hand. The only thing is we need to put all in place and have the right strategies and plans in place to see that it can be implemented. So with that, I once again thank HSI, Sphere India, Kem Singh sir, and for the excellent webinar, and thank all the participants for your attentiveness, and let's see how we can work together in this cause in taking forward this initiative for protecting animals in disasters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hansen. Nice to see you after a long time. And let me tell everybody that whatever little I have done, as I mentioned, I am not a veterinarian. And in all my efforts, Hansen has always been my right-hand man. I have learned a lot from him. And thank you, it's a good point. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hansen, for your input. Is there any other questions, any other pressing questions from our participants?
If I may comment, I would like to, I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. K.M. Singh. Thank you so much, sir. The insights you have shared are really valuable, and I had noted each and every point you have said. And already recording is on, so I'll again look at them. So it's really great to have you here and your suggestions. And I've been following your work for years, and it's commendable that the work you're doing for the animals in the country. Yeah, I hope the system changes, and that's how that's when the fundamental will change. That's how the movement will go sustainable, and all these, we are all NGOs who are working, come with an exit plan. The government has to continue the work. I totally agree with your point, and thank you so much for sharing your insights. And thank you, Hansen. Thank you for being here and been following your work as well, and really great things you have been doing for the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. I got to mention one point to you and Hannah both. As I mentioned right in the beginning, I'm not a veterinary doctor, and I'm not a doctor at all. I'm only K.M. Singh. But I've been addressed time and again as Dr. K.M. Singh, and making me feel embarrassed. I'm not a doctor. I'm only K.M. Singh. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry for that mistake. So if there is no other pressing questions, I would like to conclude the session today. So this, for setting a context, this session is first in the series of like a session that we are planning to conduct on animal and disaster management, which will lead to a national level consultation later in the month of November. And for this first session, where we intend to set the context and to have an introductory section on how do we integrate animal into the disaster management plan, and we are very privileged to have Mr. K.M. Singh and also Praveen in our session to hear from them. We have learned a lot, very crisp strategies indeed, I would say. Key recommendations that we can, in each recommendation, we can have each session. That's what I was thinking. So the total 6 sessions, we could easily conduct 6 another webinars to go deeper into it and see how can we bring that forward in all different levels, may it be national, state, or district on disaster. So we would be definitely working on an outcome paper on this, and also the other sessions that we will be doing forward. I would like to extend my sincere thank you to both of us speakers. Even in your busy schedule, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. Your expertise and knowledge is invaluable. Thank you so much for your time. And also to all the participants who have joined us. We are Spear India Academy conducting regular sessions on disaster-related topics, and along with Human Society International India, we would be conducting more sessions on topics related to animal and disaster. Thank you all for joining patiently to us, and also for contributing your expertise and knowledge in the discussion. Once again, extending my deep thank you to our speakers and to the participants. Thank you all.
Thank you, and I must compliment your time management. It is just 1 minute past 4. Brilliant time management.
That's really
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Anna. Thank you,
Okay. All the best. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. Thank you, Hansen.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice
sir.
seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.